Okay, so how can I possibly spin this? You know what? Hear me out for just a second, boys. Yeah, we're using Dark Corvus to go into a light meta team. It's very, very free and it's very easy. But case in point, we're going into a Moon Bunny Dominiel at 270 speed, giving attack buff to a Savior Adin and a Navy Captain Landy at the beginning of the fucking game. So I don't want to fight that. So what do I mean by that whenever I say this? Yeah, a lot of the times whenever you see a Dark Corvus going into a light meta team, you just generally kind of like hand wave that away and say, oh yeah, that's a free win. And like, well, what's the reason for why it's a free win? The reason why it's a free win is because Dark Corvus is probably one of the best, like, light tanks in the game. Because he's dark, he'll naturally draw in the aggro of the light units. And his S3 deals a metric shit ton of damage. That damage is just so astronomically huge, and deals extinction, by the by, that you can more than likely kill about anything. And if you have the soul burns for it, you can soul burn it and just deal even more damage. But the big reason why I wanted to go in with Dark Corvus and Yulha and Roana is straight up because of what we're looking at right here. Now, we don't have a whole lot of really good Dark Bait type units. Like, the only other ones that I can even really think of off the top of my head that could possibly even do this is Shadow Knight Pyllis. And the big thing with Shadow Knight Pyllis that kind of sucks is she's taking all that damage on turn 1 without actually building up will. And if you don't have will, you have a very, very good possibility of getting absolutely murdered. And hey, Shazam, we through. So here is another fairly interesting match. We're going up against a Ran, Apocalypse Ravi, and then also a Senya. So what I was wanting to try and do is, one, we have Ran with us, so he's going to go into the whole team, but he's never going to go into Lilias again, even if he was to RNL. He would only go into the Rule of Light, and we have two forms of revive on our team with Ruel and with Destina. We're going to go in with the S3 here, do a metric shitload of damage, do a lot to the A Ravi, also boost everyone up with the S2 that Lilias has, boost Destina, who then boosts Lilias again, and now we're able to go into that Apocalypse Ravi one more time, and she's dead before she can even take a turn. So now we have no injury to even look forward to onto your Rule of Light. And because we're going in with two Soul Weavers, both of which have revive shenanigans to them, we're really sitting kind of pretty here. Sure, it looks kind of shitty right now, just because we have Blind and we have Provoke on us, so like Lilias very well could end up getting herself killed right here, which she's not dead yet, but now she is. Now, oh no, what am I ever going to do? Well, here's the thing. You don't use the S3 on Destina because you're going to bring her back with like next to no HP. And she's also going to be like an easy target. So let's go ahead and we'll bring her back with Rules S3. Then now she's going to come back with an invincibility barrier. And the only thing that's really going to deal with her then is if this Ran happens to hit us with element disadvantage, which you know is going to fucking happen. It's going to happen. This motherfucker is the cheapest bastard in this entire fucking game. And he always hits your green units. It just always happens. So even though that happened, we didn't take any damage. So then Ruel is still the actual main target of DPS, which is really good for us. And now it's going to come around over onto Lilias' side. We almost lost Ruel, but it's actually not that big of a deal. So what we're going to do is we're going to take a risk real quick, see if we deal enough damage. We happen to. We killed the Ran, and now we just have to like roll around until it's Lilias' turn one more time. We'll go into the Senya, and this match will pretty much be all she wrote. So it was a very, very interesting, fun match. I really hope you guys rather enjoyed it, because you're going to fucking see it again. Because this is one of those guilds that just happens to, like, you know, use the same damn defense. And if you're going to use the same damn defense, and when my own guild is saying, like, hey, stop fucking around, it's time to actually start doing some wins, well, I guess I'll stop fucking around and we'll get some wins. So here, the only difference that we're fighting with Team 1 is instead of using Moon Bunny Dominiel, which is actually kind of a strange case to even have on defense for turn 1, other than the fact that, hey, it gave attack buff to 2 of the DPS. So that's kind of a good idea. We have Unbound Knight Arowell instead. Pretty much the exact same thing is going to happen. The only real difference is we pretty much can't one-tap either Unbound Knight Arowell or Navy Captain Landy. The big factor that's keeping us from being able to one-tap them is the fact that they're going to be having really, really thick-ass barriers. They're going to... we're more than likely going to have Devil's Descent long before we even get our first S3. So this is why I go into Unbound Knight Arowell first. So, hey, the faster we can get her out of the game, then the faster this is really going to go. Then they won't have Escort to really have. They won't be taking mitigated damage. And lol, right there. It's only been like, what, 2 turns after my first Devil's Descent, and I already have Devil's Descent yet again, and I still don't have a soul burn to use the Devil's Descent. So I was like, you know what, fuck it. We'll just go into that Unbound Knight Arowell yet again. And because we're rocking Roana on our team, any and all of like the attacks that the Navy Captain Landy's able to do with salvos and shit, I just don't care. I'm getting all this HP back with Vigilant Eye. Vigilant Eye is being oh so wonderfully based, and we're pretty much at like tip-top HP almost the entire time. Vigilant Eye is one of the best skills that they ever gave us, and the mere fact that like nobody else can even remotely do this role is kind of disturbing, but like, hey, we all know how SG really is. They don't like to give us Soul Weavers, and then they recently gave us a shitload of Soul Weavers that don't even fucking heal. And, you know, that's just the way it is. Yay, yeah, we don't like healing units. Okay, fine, whatever. So, now we actually have a Soul Burn S3 that we can go in and throw onto the Navy Captain Landy. The reason why I had to Soul Burn it was because this was a 19k HP Navy Captain Landy. Definitely can't take any real chances to try and kill her even without it, because it would be, like, right on the wire if I were to do that. Might as well guarantee it. Just knock it out. And then all we have left is Savior Adin. And with Savior Adin here, she's not going to kill me. Proof of Valor is just that damn invaluable on Dark Corvus. You have enough HP to where you can tank damn near almost anything. Yulha's on the team with Aureus, so she's going to be tanking some of that damage as well. I also had her come in with a protection set, so we have a barrier at the very start if we ever are happening to run into a Sword of Cycling Seasons Savior Adin. And it's really just a matter of time until you win. Yay, Dark Corvus, mad good. And like I was saying before, we're fighting the exact same team yet again. So you know what? If the first strategy worked, let's just do it again, why don't we? So we'll tank that first hit from the Ran. He just so happens to get a RNL because, you know, fuck this game. Whatever, we don't care. We're going to S3, go into the Apocalypse Ravi, do a metric shitload of fucking damage, and then we'll activate the S2, push everybody up. Hey, it's Destina's turn. Let's push up Lilias. And shazam! Now she's back up to the very front. And then we'll take this time to S1 in the Apocalypse Ravi because we also happen to have hit her first. We'll do a little bit of damage to the Proof of Valor, and we'll do more damage because we have attack buff. Hooray! Now it's Ruel's turn. We'll, you know, top off our HP a little bit. Now here comes the fun. Because we don't have immunity, we pretty much just have to kind of deal with it as we deal with it. We don't have a lot of ER on our Ruel, but we have like just enough ER on our Destina, and she is our only real cleanser. So right here is where I decide, I could like wait it out. I could just kind of just wait it out, see what I'm going to do. And I was just like, you know what? We don't need the HP. Fuck it. We'll just use the S3. We'll go for it, get the cleanse, and then we'll see how we can weather the storm from here. Because pretty much they're all either going to go into like Rule of Light or they're going to go into Lilias. Lilias isn't really like in danger from the Ran. Unless, of course, you know, element disadvantage happens again, which thankfully it didn't, because we were able to dodge that. Thank fucking God. But Ruel has taken a hell of a beating. The good news is my Ruel, even though she doesn't have as much ER as she really should have, hey, I have mine built really, really tanky. And with that, we're pretty much in the clear, boys. Sure, we have to deal with counterattacks from the Senya. It's not really a big deal, though, because, like, we have 2 Soul Weavers on the team. One is a dedicated cleanser, CR pusher, and can also revive. The other is just like a straight-up wall that's going to be tanking a lot of this hits. She's on a counter set, so she can heal on counter hits as well. She can do a little bit of a cleansing with her S2, and she can also do a big full super revive if anybody happens to go down with her S3. Ruel and Destina together are kind of overkill if you're ever wanting to fight this kind of shit. But hey, I was not really feeling it in terms of wanting to try different combinations into this team, and I was like, hey, let's just try to get this over with as quickly as possible. This is Wednesday, the worst day of the week for me. Let's fucking go. Now, here was something fairly interesting. Sure, we're using Dark Corvus again, but we're also using Moon Bunny Dominiel, and we're using Rule of Light to go into the dreaded Lua. And, well, looky there. The effects of Moon Bunny are just good enough to where the only thing that you're going to lose is going to be skill null if you don't have the F-Res. Now, it's really just a matter of you never know like how much effectiveness that a Lua is going to have, but this is pretty fucking guaranteed because my Rule doesn't have a lot of F-Res and my Dark Corvus straight up has none. And he's not getting reset. Not happening. So now we just have to really wait until we get to the next turn because we're not dealing with damage mitigation of any kind. If we wanted to, we could go into the Lua, but it's like, I kind of want Lua to just, you know, cycle. Because Moon Bunny, even though mine is not very fast, 220, that's it, just 220. I'm still able to turn cycle enough to where I can punish a fast as shit character like Lua who gives herself speed buff, and I can still, like, do some turn cycling and punish those extra turn mechanics. God, it's fucking great. So, first things first, we got rid of Savior Adin. Savior Adin is a huge pain in the ass. Don't really want to deal with any of her damage. And all we have left is Navy Captain Landy. You could argue that Navy Captain Landy is actually worse, but if you don't have Soulburn, Savior Adin is a better bet to go into to kill immediately. Because Savior Adin is never going to have like a metric fucking shitload of HP. The only one who might have a lot of HP is going to be Navy Captain Landy. So, here's your big gamble. Okay, cool. Nothing died. Now, came really, really close for Moon Bunny to die, but even if she were to die, guess what? We have a healer just right there on the side with Ruel. Ruel took almost none of that damage, and we have two really big forms of heal with her. Like big, huge burst heal with her S2, and we also have a revive with her S3, which is pretty much like a full HP heal that also gives you invincibility. And with that, we're just going to skip ahead forward here a little bit. We don't really need to see a match whenever it's just Lua. There's nothing to really see there. And on to the last match here. So this is a Zio, a Senya, and a Choux. Kind of like a lot of the Senya Choux teams, but the big thing that's really the wild card here is Zio. What's so annoying about Zio? It's because you can't actually... Well, technically you can if you know his AI. You can predict who he's going to go into. Because on turn 1, Zio always goes into whoever is the fastest on the CR bar. In this particular case, it was going to be Destina. Destina has a lot of HP, and we're able to not be pushed back by the Zio because we have a decent amount of F-Res. So we took a little bit of a hit there, but we'll go ahead and we'll heal that back up. And then also Roana's turn is right up here. We have a fairly decent amount of F-Res on her. Shazam. We're already completely recovered from the situation, and the Zio is now being provoked by the Shadow Knight Pyllis. So what's the big reason why this is really good for the Zio to be provoked by the Shadow Knight Pyllis? Every time that you are hit by a provoked unit with Shadow Knight Pyllis, you straight up zoom up on that CR bar, and Zio has an attack and a follow-up attack. We straight up just gained, like, almost 50% CR just right there, just fighting Zio and him hitting her. So, yeah, sure, he's on Chatty, so basically all this is really doing is just going to make it take a little bit longer, but... Hey, you've got one turn of DFI left, bud, and as soon as that turn of DFI is up, you're fucking done. So you're probably wondering, well, hey, why do you not care about Choux and why do you not care about Senya? Biggest reasons as to why. One, we have Roana on the team. Roana is basically going to be doing big, huge, chunky heals for every Vigilant Eye proc. Vigilant Eye is happening fucking constantly. So every like counterattack and follow-up attack that the Choux could possibly do, every counterattack if I were to hit into the Senya, that's a heal. Any regular attack that the Roana is going to do is also a heal because I have her on Celestine. And then because we're not dealing with Lua and having to have a lot of F-Res on the team, we can just bring Destina. And Destina is great because she gives like a good bit of heals. I have Guardian Ice Crystals on her. That's basically going to be your emergency like heal for any time anybody ever gets too low, or if the Choux just so happens to get really lucky and crit S1, crit S2s you in like a single turn. And the only unit that she's going to be going into on her own is going to be Shadow Knight Pyllis, but the only she has a chance to, you know, hit green because, hey, LOL, what is element disadvantage? But, like, that doesn't really happen in this fight. Like, I straight up think every attack that she really tries to go into a green, it doesn't work out. Because, hey, LOL, she's not Ran. Ran just straight up bypasses that shit because he's fucking Ran. Aren't I so cool? But either way, after we deal with the Zio, all you have left is just Senya and Choux. And by this point, if you're a avid follower of my channel, you kind of know that I really kind of fuck with Senya Choux teams. And because we're not dealing with, like, effectiveness shenanigans like, say, a Lua, we don't need to have Christie. And because we don't need to have Christie, we can just straight up have complete security by throwing in 2 Soul Weavers. Those 2 Soul Weavers, one being like a cleanser and, you know, just extra emergency anchor, that being Destina, Guardian Ice Crystals, CR Push, S3, Revive, all that kind of shenanigans. And then just, you know, Roana being the goddess of healing that she is. We've already dealt with the Choux, and most of you who were astute and watching, as soon as the Zio went down, I straight up just hit auto because I had absolutely nothing to worry about. And that's pretty much it, boys. So now we're just kind of like waiting out the clock until we eventually get to our turn so we can go into the Senya, and then we can just kind of kill it. Thankfully for us, this is going to be an EE level 3 Senya, so she doesn't have heals on her S1, which really the only reason why that heal on the S1 is even there is really just to kind of annoy the shit out of you, because it just makes the fight take longer. Sure, I could have probably brought another unit into this, but straight up, I just kind of wanted to see, hey, this is Lucent when he's really trying, and he didn't want to, like, do some next level dumb shit and lose on the last match for absolutely no reason. Case in point, where you also saw I was using a lot of the same units over and over. And boys, that's the GuildWar! Ooh! But yeah, not very many units were really thrown into this. If anything, if you check, I think I used more Soul Weavers than I did, like, any DPS units in general, period. But yeah, this is where I'm actually kind of excited for the next GuildWar, because Abyssal Yufine came out. I've been trying her out a little bit, and straight up, if you have a tank down playstyle, and you really like to play Protect the President with it, Abyssal Yufine might low-key legit be broken. Like, if you can absolutely keep her protected in some way, shape, or form, this unit is nuts. But, like, hey, I'm really, really excited to get a chance to really use her. And to those of you who have really been around, seeing everything that I've been doing and leaving comments, hey, I greatly appreciate y'all. I hope y'all stick around for longer. But hey, boys, if you like this video, go ahead and leave me a like. It really makes me happy. And if you want to see more of my content, go ahead and hit subscribe. See ya later.